We're choosing to allow people to rile us up. We're choosing to allow people to spark an emotion with me, to hit an emotion, whatever it is. I have to be intentional to say, you know what? That is outside of my control.
That's why we need to sit still with God sometimes.
Exactly right.
Be still and know that I am God. You cannot be still and know that He is God if you are always reacting. Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Asbel.
And we want to welcome you to another episode on A Cup of Real. And before we go into the title, I just want to say, I am glad you're home. He has been traveling for 13 days straight. He has not been home for 13 days.
You were with me, I think, the first, 7 days?
7 days, yeah.
Yeah, because we were
that
in
was enough
Laguna
for me.
Beach in California.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was
I was
gorgeous.
like, I got it. I need to get home to my doggies and my safe haven.
Yeah.
But then you're leaving again. And
I'm leaving again, but thankfully starting June, July generally is really good time to be without these day trips.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have some day trips and personal trips.
Yeah, and that's going to be nice because you've been traveling so much. And it'll pick back up. You're going to have a few lay-low days.
Yeah.
But kind of what we're talking about, it kind of intertwines with being busy. Talking about breaking free from constant reaction, from breaking free from being in, I think we would call it reaction mode.
There's a difference between responding and reacting.
Yeah.
So reacting is generally when there's an acronym for it and it's not coming to me, but it's like when you're hungry, when you are angry, when you've had no rest. They generally say don't respond to anything if one of those things have happened.
Well, when we live in reactive mode, we become overstimulated and overwhelmed. And you're traveling so much that it's easy for you to react without thinking because you're tired. And you're used to traveling. You have a system. When I'm with you, it's like as soon as they start boarding, you're like, come on, let's go. You have a system, he has a checklist. I'm just following. Okay, let's go, And I get all the perks when I travel with you because you travel all the time. You have major status on several airlines now. Thank God, that's nice when I'm with you. But you can become lazy and react because you're tired, you're sluggish, and you don't have patience.
And you have to be more intentional about it. I've had to be intentional about it this week as well and I've used a lot of my notes because now when I get frustrated, irritated or whatever, I've written a lot of notes. You should read my notes. I've written a lot of my notes of something I want to respond to, knowing I've even had some emails where I've been irritated and I wrote them out and then I'm like, save to draft.
So you didn't send them?
Did not send them.
That's good.
Which was good because I was reacting in an emotion. It doesn't mean I don't have to address it. It just means not in the tone.
And not right now.
And not right now.
Yeah. I think that's key. Sometimes we feel like we have to respond right now.
5 years, 10 years ago, Asbel would have not even done any of that. He would have just shot it off.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the difference between exercising that response muscle. You have to be intentional. It's like with anything that we do, when you're intentional about something, you exercise it a lot, it gets more natural. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have those fits. I'm kidding myself to think I will never have that. I just now have tools that I begin to use, like going to my notes, doing something and saving it, speaking into the void, whatever, so I can get my frustration out.
Yeah, I do that. I'll type out things and then I'll reread it and I'm like, oh no, you cannot.
I've got a few people I'll call and say, I just want to vent right now.
Yeah.
I don't need you to say anything. Just let me vent, get it off my chest. And they will just listen. And they just are a good listening ear. And then I know what I need to do. I just need to get it out because I know I need to respond differently. But it helps. So you have to find those different avenues that gets that off your chest.
Your last day of travel before you came home late Thursday night, you are like, they lost my luggage. And you have a meeting the next morning. I think, is that the first time you've ever lost your luggage?
Well, I haven't had that issue in a while. I don't generally lose it a lot, but we had so many delays coming out of Tucson that I was going to dead leg in Dallas, and then the place I was going to, they sent a private plane to come get me.
Yeah.
And they had assured me in Tucson that they had pulled my luggage and that it would be waiting for me in Dallas. And I get to Dallas, and lo and behold, it is not there. And so
I heard the frustration in your voice.
I was frustrated. I was talking to you frustrated, but I went to the press and I said, whenever they're like, I'm so sorry, Mr. Montez, but it's going to show up in I said, I'm sorry, but it can't show up in Texarkana.
I need it.
And they whatever. And I just said, Adwell, I said, I don't want to get frustrated. I don't want to be frustrated with you. It's not your fault. I said, if you'll just make sure there's a note and maybe they can pull it. And if you'll just call me and let me know. And I walked to the hotel. I think I called you and said, I just cannot believe they so promised me. And I wound up having to have them bring me up deodorant and toothbrush because I had nothing. And I finally said, you know what? If this is the worst, you made it safe. This was telling my, so I started telling my another story. I said it could be much worse.
Yes,
you couldn't maybe even afford to fly. Look at you're able to stay in a hotel. You're able to get something to eat. You've got some place that's able to have whatever. So I just started thinking about all of the great things.
Well, and we're so blessed.
Yeah, and I went to bed, woke up the next morning, I put the same clothes on again, jumped on a plane, and eventually I'm on my way to go to the other FBO, and they call me, Mr. Montez, your luggage is waiting. I said, well, it's too late now. I'm headed to, and so they shipped it to the house, and so it was waiting on me when I got home. But that would have messed me up 10 years ago. And that's kind of where I know
you've grown.
I've grown, majorly grown. It's just major for me at this point.
Because that is hard. But I think you could put a pamphlet together, tips on how to travel. You have a lot of experience. But one of the biggest things, it's a problem, but it's a blessing at the same time, is this thing right here.
Oh, yeah.
The phone. The iPhone, I mean, there's so many other phones, but mainly the iPhone, it has everything on it, text. I don't even have to open my laptop when I'm in the airport. If I want to send all these emails, I can. You can do everything, research, Google, whatever. But the biggest problem I see, and I struggle with it, but God is helping me, being intentional, is you need to take breaks from it. You need to allow yourself to turn off the phone for 30 minutes or to just set a boundary with it. And I think that's the hardest thing we as humans struggle with, is setting a boundary with this. It's not, I don't want to say the phone, but it's everything connected to the phone. Don't you agree?
I 100% agree. And that's what I'm going to do. I try to do on Saturdays is take several hours and I bring a book and I'm just going to sit and I'm going to read and put the phone away. Just because I need to rest my mind. I want to rest and just pour into myself.
Right.
And not be consumed by what algorithms are telling me to consume.
So it's okay to step away, to not always be stirred up about something, because we talked about having compassion in our other episode, but why we were talking about it is because it's constant headlines, constant news, constant chaos, constant things. So it keeps us all riled up, and I'll get texts, did you see this? Or someone say, did you hear about this? So we're constantly being riled up where we were not born. Our minds cannot process the gazillion things going on every day in the world.
Right now. So which means you have to lead with intention. I'm speaking at a conference here week after next, and it's calling about leading with intention, but it's actually about this very topic.
Okay.
And one of the points that I actually give to people is you have to be very intentional into your leadership when you're leading in a reactive environment. And in healthcare, specifically in emergency medicine, it's very reactive from a clinical perspective. And if we're not careful, it will show up in our leadership. And so you have to be very intentional to say when something sparks me is even simple things like people talk about, like count to 10 before you respond. Let the awkwardness of the moment just set and be okay in the awkwardness of a silence. If somebody is wanting a response out of you, to just look and pause and in your mind count to 10.
Well,
because you'll be surprised at what will happen in the awkwardness of the moment.
Do you think that, because we're seeing this trickle down into leadership, regardless of industry, even in ministry, because I'm involved in church ministry, it's because it's happening on the world stage. There's so much chaos and reactive reacting. It's constant.
It definitely will permeate into
so it's trickling down into everybody else's lives.
Everything.
Yeah, that's what I think's
all
going
the
on.
chaos that we see happening in the political world on the world stage. It permeates it'll permeate into your relationships, into the households, into business, into it if you let it.
If you let it.
Only if you let it.
Because
we have a choice.
We have a choice.
I have a choice to allow that to come in to my circle.
Yeah, because
I have a choice.
Because we have been warned as Christians of this happening, global moral decay, chaos.
The problem is we are choosing to allow it.
Yes.
We're choosing to allow people to rile us up. We're choosing to allow people to spark an emotion with me, to hit an emotion, whatever it is. I have to be intentional to say, you know what? That is outside of my control. I literally cannot control anything that the President of the United States does, that China does, that I literally cannot control it.
Yeah.
But what I can control is my response and reaction to every situation that's out there.
Right.
I do. I control that.
Yeah. It's true.
Every single thing. And so a lot of times when people are like spinning out of control, it's like you have to go back and reflect and say, okay, Asbel, I literally ask myself a lot. Now, sometimes make a list. What are you trying to control? Why are you feeling this anxiousness? Is there anything that you can do about it? I do this in business. If all of a sudden I get anxious about something, is there something that you can do about this? No, there's nothing I can do about that, but there is something I can do about this, this, and this. Guess what I do? Check off the one I can't do anything about. The ones that I can do something about that might help mitigate my anxiety, my anxiousness, whatever, I start focusing on those.
I think that's really good because I recently started doing this, saying you can't control it. In fact, my older sister, we were talking about we can't control it. Yeah, it's stressful. You can feel the unrest. You can feel like a heaviness. You can feel other people's anxiety around us in the world, but we can't control it. So what do we need to do? Be still. Sit
I'm
still.
going to be a purveyor of hope.
Yes.
Jesus is the hope of the world.
Yeah.
If you're always reacting to every crisis that comes up, responding is saying, wait a minute, God is in control. Everything that happens is because he's allowed it.
But that's why I want to circle back to what I said. That's why we need to sit still with God sometimes.
That's exactly right.
Be still and know that I am God. You cannot be still and know that he is God if you are always reacting.
Right.
It's so important to sit still in your thoughts, sit still with God, linger with God. The best conversation of the day is sitting still with God, having a conversation with God. And that will help you, what you're talking about. It will help you
to
prioritize things, to realize I can't control China, I can't control Iran, can't control the White House, can't control the people around me.
And you might want to look in the mirror and figure out why am I always trying to control? I had to ask myself this.
That's good.
Why am I always wanting to control? It's what I write about in my book. And you begin to, when you package and you start looking in the mirror, that mirror has to answer a lot of hard questions, and it's hard.
So is it because there's something in our own life we can't control?
That is absolutely what it is. Something's probably spiraling in your own life that you can't control. So you're seeking to control everything around you. If you will address the issue that it's out of control in your life, you will release control of everything else that you cannot do.
Right.
I was having a conversation with this on a professional level, and there was something going on. I'm like, okay, stop. Can we control what they do right now?
No.
And they said no. I said, so why are we trying to? Why are we taking the burden and the anxiety of what we can't control onto us?
Yeah.
I can't control that. Now, what I can do is do 1, 2, 3. So that's what we're going to focus on. But I'm not continuing down this conversation. And this is where Asbel has grace. I will speak the truth in love seasoned with salt, but I will have a boundary and say, I am no longer having conversations in rooms about things that I cannot control, because that is not building. I will only be in room with builders.
So I think it's important to create even a checklist, a mental checklist.
You have to do, and literally that's how I started with this.
I think
this is where my counseling started. Like start writing the list
lately.
out.
Yeah.
And when you start seeing it written out, you can start actually addressing it. So if you list out 8 things, you'll start addressing there's maybe 5 or 6 on there that are outside of your control, and there's only 2 within your control. Focus your energies on the 2 things that you can control.
Yeah, I think it's really...
Other than that, let go and let God handle it.
Let go and let God. And remember...
And it's amazing what happens. I mean, I'm a testament of it.
Yeah.
I'm convinced.
So if you're feeling overstimulated and overwhelmed because you're always reacting, stop. And get your checklist out. And then remember John, I wrote this down, John 14:27, peace I leave with you. Jesus is saying, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives, because the world is going to keep you in constant reacting mode. Oh, I got to react to this. Or
they're going to give you a false sense of peace.
Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. So he's letting us know, it's the world. What's going on, everything around us is causing us to be anxious, and like, I have to respond to that. I have to put that person in his place. I have to give my opinion. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Believe what you want to believe. Why do I have to give my opinion? Why?
That's exactly right. It's like,
why do I have to respond? Why? I mean, if you really think about it.
There are some times that I look and see things like, things so unwise. God, give me discernment, when to speak, when not to speak, when to be silent.
James.
The Bible says, give me wisdom.
And he'll give it generously.
He gives it generously. If you pray for it. If you literally pray for wisdom,
been praying for
God
it more than
will
ever.
give it to you unmerited.
Yeah, seriously.
All you have to do is pray for it.
Because we need wisdom.
I always say that. Pray for wisdom, seek knowledge, so you can have understanding. So the formula is wisdom plus understanding equals knowledge.
Yeah, because
scriptures are clear.
Because you can have knowledge and not have wisdom. A lot of people are very intelligent. Yeah. They're very knowledgeable, but they lack wisdom.
They lack wisdom. And so they don't have understanding.
No, so God, give me all of those things.
The only way that you can have understanding of what is happening right now, what's happening in your personal life, what's happening in your professional life, what's happening outside, things that you can't control, is if you want to have understanding of it, start praying for wisdom.
Right.
Start seeking knowledge. Knowledge requires me to do something. Wisdom, all you have to do is pray for it. Right. Literally.
Yeah.
Also, all you have to do is pray for it.
Every day I'm praying for it.
Knowledge requires that I seek it.
Yeah.
So that means I have to do something. I have to research. I have to understand.
Right.
So if I couple that together with prayer, I will now get understanding. And that understanding will tell me when to be quiet, when to respond, when to talk, when it's out of my control, when it's within my control. That's where understanding comes in. And so if we would understand and recognize the formula, God gave it to us. God gave it to us.
Yeah, and I often say hit the pause button. If you feel like you're out of control and you have so much anxiety and you're feeling that need to always react and to always post and to always get back and give your opinion, just hit the pause button. Sit back and say, why? Why do I feel the pressure to respond? Why do I feel the pressure? Why do we allow the peer pressure?
Generally, this is generally what I see, and I take it from...
Because you and I have been there, babe.
I'll tell you, and that's kind of what I want to have a conversation about. This is generally, to answer that question that you say, is because there is so much chaos going in your life internally that you project it onto others. So when chaos is in your circle always, it's because chaos is in my life. Because what is in me, the Bible says, comes out of me. And so it'll project on into the area. So I always pay attention to that. And I always say, if there's always drama in your life and there's always chaos in your life, there's a common denominator, and it's you.
Yeah.
And what that tells me is there's something inside you that is coming out of you, and it's causing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've addressed it in your life, guess what? You don't want to be around it anymore. Yeah. You keep a home of peace. You keep when there's constant drama, that is my first, I don't care what you say, it doesn't matter to me. There's a common denominator.
Well, just going back before when I had gotten out of that abusive situation, I was drama. I was constantly chaos. It was constant. And I would blame other people, but I was not healed inside. But once I began to address it, acknowledge it, and heal, I was no longer attracted to drama. I didn't want to be around drama. Right. And now more than ever, I just walk away now. I'm like, now if I need to help, encourage, yes, but I'm not going to allow the residue of that to get into my life.
If they sincerely want help.
Yeah.
And that's where you pray for understanding. This is
Yeah,
or pray
that's
for
true.
wisdom so you can get understanding. So you seek knowledge, you pray for wisdom so you can have understanding. There are some people, they have drama, they don't want help. They just want to get you in their drama. And I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. Appreciate you. And I do that now. Oh, you know what? I don't have time to talk about that. Or I'll sometimes even won't pick up the phone. Like I'm done with it. Like it's because it's a constant cycle. It gets you in the like I'm not.
And
I'm
a
not
lot
doing
of
this
times
anymore.
when you are in drama mode, you're always blaming someone else for it. You're never reflecting, taking responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. And I was there. So I recognize it immediately now.
Well, the leader that God wants us to be is a leader of humility. The Bible says, blessed are the humble, for they will inherit the earth. So if you're wanting to inherit the earth, you're wanting to do something, it's in a posture of humility. And so if you're constant around and the rhetoric around individuals is always like, I'm the savior, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, this is what we're have you, I have no time for it. And I'll be kind.
Yeah.
But I'm out of that room. I don't want to be in those rooms. I want to be in rooms where people have a humility, like together we work. You know, the Bible talks about it, you know, one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. It's strengthened. It's strengthened.
Yes.
So
the power cord thing.
The unity of that is what you need. So there's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
Not one person can do it alone. And so that's kind of the rooms that I want to be in, whether it's in my personal life, whether it's in my professional life, whether it's in my Christian, my religious life, whatever it is.
Right.
I can control that. What I can't control is how you react. I can't control. I may want it for you, but I can't do it for you. I can just example, this is what I'm looking for. And I put in very clear boundaries. Love you.
Right.
I'll be there for you, but I'm not going to be around it.
That's good. That's
you know what I'm saying? And that's what I think gets us out of the reacting and responding is because we always are trying to wonder, why are we always reacting? Look in the mirror right now. Yeah. Look in the mirror. There's an honest conversation that we can have with ourselves. I've had it.
Yeah.
You've had it. And this is where you start writing it out when you recognize it. Like, I mean, when you start recognizing, start writing it out and then really look at it objectively and say, can I really control everything that's on this list?
No.
If I can't, delete the ones you can't.
Yeah.
And let them go.
Right.
And then focus on the ones that you can.
Yeah. Well, and the season I'm in, I'm not going to waste time anymore. I'm kind of over that because I've been there where I was trying to control this, trying to fix this, trying to give my opinion, trying to defend myself. Think what you want. Now, I'm just in a different, and I'm glad I'm here. God has really helped me. He's given me a lot of peace about always having to jump in. I was talking to someone recently about this and telling her, you know what? You need to take a step back. You can't control that. So take kind of what I've learned, what we've learned. We're just kind of telling people who are watching this what we've learned through the process.
I don't know what you're going through or maybe what you feel and something's resonating with you, but my strongest suggestion would be look in the mirror, get out a piece of paper, get on your phone, start writing out those things that you've been trying to control. And then tomorrow or the next day, revisit them with an objective mind and say, what can I really control? Is this in my control or outside? Is there something that I literally can do that will change the nature of this? Like I can physically do, I had to do this with my daughter. Can I really make her stop doing drugs?
Yeah.
I couldn't. That's a choice that she makes, not me. I would love to make it for her, but I couldn't, so I had to check that off the list.
Yeah.
And then I would just go through and say, is there certain things that you're doing that is giving her assistance to purchase the drug? So are you giving her money? How do you know she's using it for food? So I begin to change my behaviors on that, saying, you know what, I'm no longer giving her cash. If she's hungry, then I will get you and DoorDash you food.
Yeah. You did another.
And I used to start doing that. Like when she was hungry, I would then she would want the money. I'm like, that told me you're not really hungry. You really just want the money. So there's changes of behaviors that I had to start doing in my life that really started moving her to the bottom.
Right. Well, and I would say as you're doing that, wherever you are in life, give it to God. Just say, God, I'm recognizing I can't fix this, but I'm giving it to you because ultimately He's the one who fixes, who restores, who can heal relationships, whatever it is that you're dealing with.
I was talking to a gentleman the other day. It's another good story too, because he was resonating. We were talking about our daughters, and his daughter was 26, and she came to him and said, "Dad, I can't make my truck payment. I need $600." And he's like, And he said, "She works a full-time job. I know how much money she makes." And he said, "But then I saw this Louis Vuitton pocketbook," and I was like, "Wait a minute, that's new. I haven't seen that before." And she said, "Yeah, I just got it." And like, how much was that? "Well, it cost me $3,500. Well, it sounds like you might want to return it and get you something cheaper, and that'll free up some money for you to pay for your truck payment."
Wow.
And I said, "That was the best." He said, "She pitched a fit for it." He said, "But it was almost like, no.
That's commendable, though.
Commendable." I was
like,
a
lot of parents.
Right. It was like thinking, wait a minute. She, like, literally, because of her poor choices, she couldn't make it, went to get a bailout after, and that is good. Like he said, "I will always make sure you have food, clothing, but if you're making poor choices because of it,"
Wow.
I've had to do this with Sierra sometimes, like thinking, you know what, sweetheart, I used to live on ramen noodle or peanut butter and
potatoes and ketchup,
and crackers,
tuna.
I said, "So you decided you wanted to go out and have a nice dinner this past weekend on a budget that you couldn't afford, and now you're wanting help with your grocery money. Well, guess what? It's probably going to be a really good lesson for you this week to eat peanut butter and crackers and ramen noodle. Cost you about $10. I lived like that."
Yeah.
And I know it's hard.
Because our parents didn't bail us
No, I know
out.
that's hard, but we have to, there's consequences to choices that we make.
Well, I think it helps us grow, though.
Yeah, it helps us grow.
If you never teach your children,
Right.
they're never going to learn. They're going to be 28, 30 years old, still asking for money, still. I mean, I have friends.
Yeah.
They're still stepping in. I'm like, they're married. Yeah.
But you know what? It's don't rob somebody of the lesson for growth.
That's good.
Don't rob somebody of the lesson for growth. And that's what I learned.
So good.
Is sometimes we rob people of an opportunity because we continue to enable the behavior that frustrates us. Yes. And so when you go back and look at it, I learned, I would like, in the mirror, it's like, you're the problem, Asbel. And it was really hard for me to admit, I'm not the problem, she's the problem. And it was like, no, the problem is you're not letting them learn the lesson of their choices.
Which you learned the lesson of your choices when you were younger.
And I'm still learning them.
We never
every
stop.
Choice, every it doesn't matter how old you get.
Yeah.
There is still, I'm just hoping I'm getting wiser.
Yeah.
And having more understanding because I'm praying for wisdom and knowledge so I stop making those poor choices.
Well, I remember when I was younger, when I had a car I worked, I would buy things that I couldn't afford. We all did that when we were younger. But you should be learning from that. You really should.
Yeah.
So
I
think
a great conversation, babe.
I think that's great.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for coming into our faux living room here.
Yeah.
So we could have a conversation about how we're doing it, what we're doing, and hoping something resonated with you today.
And now Asbel's going to get some rest for the next 24 hours, and then he's going to be flying again.
There we go. It's part of the job.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.